Hi, I'm Adam Deutsch. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video to learn more about myself and Northeast Law Group. We are a financial consumer rights law firm centered in Western Massachusetts, and our geographical areas of practice are in Massachusetts, New Jersey, and New York, although really our focus is New Jersey and Massachusetts. So what does it mean we are a financial consumer rights law firm? Let me give you some background. When I got out of law school, it was in the heart of the financial crisis, and I was down in New Jersey, and that was one of the three hardest hit states when it came to the foreclosure crisis. So I started doing foreclosure defense work and began taking on both the banks and, frankly, the courts. I learned very early what it meant to be a strong advocate for clients, not to be afraid of adversaries or the courts, because at that time they were in fact really adversaries to my clients. Took a lot of cases up to the appellate division, created a lot of change. One of the things that I began to notice is it wasn't enough to just sit back and do defense work. You really needed to create a path to go on the offensive to make the biggest difference for clients. Now, I also realized that there were other problems outside of simply foreclosure. There were other areas in consumer rights that people needed help with. And after doing a bunch of research, it turns out that using key state and federal statutes, there are a number of ways to get relief for clients, and these statutes all contain fee-shifting provisions, meaning that when successful, the wrongdoer has to pay all of my attorney fees and the court costs for the client. And this means that legal representation becomes incredibly affordable. And when people are being victimized and wronged, but they might not have the financial capacity to, go hire an attorney, well, now they do. And so that's the type of work that we do. Now, what exactly does it mean, financial consumer rights? Well, let me give you some examples of areas of practice and the types of cases that I currently have or previously have had success in representing various consumers, both in New Jersey and Massachusetts as well. So break-in cases. Well, turns out to actually be a big one. And what happens is banks who have mortgages on a property will send out a local representative to just check on the property, make sure that the condition is in good order, grass is being cut, etc., and that they're complying with various terms that are set forth in the mortgage. Now, let's say that you have gone on vacation for a couple weeks, or let's say that it's a second home, a beach home, and it's only used seasonally. Well, that local vendor might decide that it looks like the home is abandoned, when obviously it's not. Your personal possessions are there and all that. But the bank will actually pay the vendor to go and break into the home, change the locks, and they will remove personal possessions. I've seen a huge amount of turmoil to families with family heirlooms being stolen, things of that nature. And we will go after both the vendor and the bank to get the recovery that the homeowner in that case really deserves. So that's one type of case. Another type of case, again, in the mortgage industry, are breaches of modifications. So this is another common one. A lot of times someone who is having a financial hardship will apply for a modification which will reduce payments, restructure the loan, and they'll be offered one, or they'll be offered a trial plan where you have to make 3 payments, each month, 3 consecutive months, and then you're given a permanent modification. Well, a lot of times, unfortunately, the homeowner will comply, but the loan servicer either won't honor the agreement, or let's say servicing gets transferred in the middle of that deal and the new servicer doesn't honor the modification. Now, this happens a lot, and then all of a sudden people get, are filed against for foreclosure, or there's a report on their credit score that they have missed payments, but in fact they've been paying under a new modification agreement. So this is another area we can use federal statutes and other classic claims like breach of contract to really get meaningful relief for clients. Both New Jersey and Massachusetts have consumer protection statutes that a lot of times will also provide treble damages, meaning if you've paid money in the form of monthly payments to the mortgage company and they have failed to honor the agreement, or they haven't applied the payments properly, you might be entitled to 2 or 3 times the amount of money that you've actually paid out, and they're going to have to pay the attorney's fees and costs of court. What else do we do? Well, let's see. There's debt collection work. not collecting debts, but fighting debt collectors. Okay, so here's an example, and I've dealt with this both in the credit card industry, in medical debt, in the mortgage servicing area, and with auto loans as well. So here's an example. And I did a podcast. You can go to northeastlawgroup.com, check our podcast, and you'll see a podcast up there relating to the auto loan situation, or medical debt, I should say. So let's see. So what happens? Well, typically the owner of a debt will hire out a third party or even an attorney that counts as a third party, and they are a debt collector, and they're going to try and collect on the debt. But a lot of times, they start adding fees that are not actually owed on the debt. If they do that, it's a violation of federal law, of the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act. Other examples, you might be charged the wrong amount of interest, or there could be a case of mistaken identity. Perhaps the debt is not yours at all, or maybe you went through a bankruptcy and had a discharge, and now they're coming after you and threatening lawsuit or filing lawsuit and doing different things that they're not allowed to do. These are all violations that entitle you to statutory damages, actual damages, and they would have to pay our fee as well. And we've recovered thousands and thousands of dollars for consumers who have been subject to this type of collections. In the medical industry, you see a lot of times physicians will fail to fill out their paperwork with the insurance company, and then the insurance company denies paying the benefit, and then the physician will go after the patient, and that's an example of something that just is not appropriate and illegal. So that's debt collection as well. What else? Let's see, there is credit reporting errors. So this ties in with debt collection in a sense, right? A lot of times we'll find that people have inaccurate information reported on their credit history, and this will impact your credit score and your ability to obtain financing. And these are really, really big injuries that could be caused and have really big compound effects on people's lives. Now, with the Fair Credit Reporting Act, there's a big procedure for how to correct the situation, and if it's not tended to correctly, then you go ahead and you file a lawsuit. And what's different is the Fair Credit Reporting Act actually provides for punitive damages in a lot of situations. So consumers can actually have significant recovery, to resolve their injury and fix everything. So these are some of the examples. And again, if you were to visit northeastlawgroup.com, you will see other areas of practice and find out more information about what we do. Thank you so much. And if I could be of any assistance to you, please send an email to adam@northeastlawgroup.com, and I hope to hear from you. Bye.